John James Audubon is a worldly acclaimed artist, painter, naturalist, and ornithologist. Born in the Dominican Republic, he went to America to get a job and to learn English. While living in Valley Forge with another family, Audubon discovered that he had a skill and intense love for wildlife and painting. John James then moved to Kentucky in 1808 and married his new wife, Lucy. In the many years he lived in Kentucky, Audubon spent his days exploring, painting, and shooting the local wildlife. Since Audubon spent around 10 years in Kentucky, the people decided to build a state park in his honor. After a few years of work, the park was complete and ready for use. I interviewed Alan Garrett, the curator at Audubon Museum.
I'm curator of collections here at the Audubon Museum, which means I'm responsible for overseeing the John James Audubon collection, which is the largest standing collection of Audubon paintings, prints, and artifacts related to the artist and naturalist.
Through the considerable amount of time curator Alan Garrett has been working at the museum, he has learned much about John James Audubon.
John James Audubon, as by many people's standards, the greatest artist and naturalist of the 1800s. John set out in 1820 to create a book of birds that was unlike any book that had been done, larger than any book that had been done on birds, and to document all the birds of North America. Now, it doesn't sound like much of a job, but the truth of the matter was there was only one bird book done before Audubon's, which was not all that exciting. And what John planned for was to do everything life-size and showing natural habitats, and nobody had ever done this before.
Though he never accomplished his goal, Audubon did compile 435 pages of North American birds in one book. Alan Garrett explains the significance of this act.
And the results of this was that he was just widely proclaimed as for his work and what he accomplished. And it changed the way we view wildlife in America. And that's probably one of his greatest contributions. It changed the way people view wildlife from being something just strictly utilitarian. It was there to eat and kill, to something we could observe and enjoy. And this set the tune for the beginning of the wildlife conservation movement.
John James Audubon prints are few and expensive. Amazingly, the museum has Audubon's entire book, The Birds of America, one of the most expensive books in the world.
In 2010, a complete set of Audubon's work, like we have a set up here at the museum, sold for $11.5 million.
In addition to this very expensive book,
we have not only just a set of his books, we have many prints from other copies of that book that have been broken up throughout the years that are on display in the museum, and we change these out periodically to keep things fresh. We also have a number of original paintings done by him, both oils, pastels, and watercolors.
It's not easy to gain all of what they have. Every print that the museum keeps was donated by the Audubon family. In 1938, 75 years ago, the family donated a huge amount of Audubon works. The museum that all of these fantastic works are housed in, it has a fascinating story behind it.
And the park here came about through the idea of Henderson's librarian at the time, Susan Toll.
Audubon Park also has cabins, a lake, 6 miles of hiking trails, a 9-hole golf course, and offers art classes to small children. With these things and many others, Alan Garrett explains the influence Audubon and his museum had on Henderson.
The idea of having a park here is giving Audubon, or is giving Henderson, an identity. If we go downtown, we've got the banners hanging, Henderson, Audubon's Kentucky home. And it's giving people something to rally around over the years, that they have something that's their own, something that is dedicated to an individual that is still considered one of the world's greatest naturalists, even to this day. His paintings and his prints are just loved around the world, and this has become a mecca for people to come to and visit.
John James Audubon was a man who went through life without fame or money. He left behind a legacy and his fantastic paintings that started conservation movements and changed America's ways of looking at animals. Fortunately, Henderson's museum captured this legacy and has put it on display for the world to see.